What's going on?
What's up? Happy Sunday, everyone. Welcome in to YenYorkCity Live from New York City on a overcast, rainy day.
It was drizzling a little bit.
Yeah.
When I went to get some coffee.
This week has been a week. It's been 80 degrees, and tonight we're going to be in the 30s. Very bipolar, but you know, that's New York City for you. You don't know if it's going to rain, it's going to snow. It can all happen in April. Or it's going to be like a summer day. But yeah, it's been an awesome week, very eventful, and I've been really excited because we have this amazing guest tonight, and he's going to be a lot of fun to talk to.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we got to talk to him earlier before we started our show, and he's fun. Lots of stories to tell, and we're excited to start digging deep into his background and his luthiery, and if that's even a word. Luthiery? I don't know if that's a word, but he's a luthier, and he creates amazing guitars. We're going to talk about that.
Creating names that don't exist, but, you know, they become words.
You can use it if you want. You have
Speaking
permission.
of cool words and names, his guitars have really badass names. Like, I was like, whoa, this is like my realm. So with guitars with names like Astro, Raven, Stardust, he has some Flying V's, one called Supernova and Revolution. Gorgeous guitars, and I love that his guitars really represent him because he's such a colorful, like energetic, fun person. And that's why I'm excited to have him, because we like that. We like guests that, you know, we could just project the energy back and forth, you know, kind of like a supernova. It's just explosion of fun and energy. So I got my coffee. So we're going to have some energy, and we're going to talk about how he designs his guitars, how he started being a luthier, and of course, everything in between, because we like talking about music and what makes them so passionate about their company.
Quick updates for us. We have a show coming up in June. We're still pending a date on when we're playing, but it's the Auditorium Festival up in Saratoga Fairgrounds. So if you're up in upstate New York and you want to catch us play live, be sure to check us out on go to our website. You see the updates on there. Join our newsletter at skymuseummusic.com for more additional updates to come. And we have a lot of stuff planned, you know, between Sky Museum and YenYorkCity. So keep an eye out on that.
And also this week we had a really cool showcase.
Yeah.
With one of our amazing friends that is also a beautiful creator and master of his craft. So I wanted to show it to you here in person. In the ethers.
Yeah. Check this out. Hold on. So we had a surprise. And it is a surprise. And it's my very own custom snare drum, brought to you by Voxel Percussions. Check this out.
Woo. So you see all of this? It has the name, the logo, Sky Museum, and Lunasatori inside. The moon phases, because he's the moon man. You already know. And Sky Museum is very spacey.
Glows in the dark.
It glows in the fucking dark, guys. Like, how cool is that?
Black light reactive.
Black light reactive.
So cool.
So we just got to give a shout out to Voxel. We're going to be using that at our shows, displaying it also. It's going to be fun. See all the fun things. And the lights, you know, we can put lights on it and it glows.
Just really get that
really
glow to show. And like when the lights go off during our shows and stuff, you see that just glowing in the middle of nowhere. But it looks like when you look at it when
like
it's glowing,
spaceship.
It looks like the surface of the moon, because you can see kind of like the craters and the dark spots. It looks so nice. So they did an amazing job on this snare drum.
If you didn't see
Thank
that
you
podcast,
so much, Voxel.
Go look at the podcast, because they really go in depth how they create them.
So excited. So we did play a show at Nostalgia Bar. There's a 90s theme.
Oh, yes.
It was so much fun.
It was so much fun.
We headlined that one. That was a good show, good turnout. A lot of our friends showed up, and you know, it'll be nice to play there again. You know, I had fun.
Yeah, Nostalgia was a nice themed location. I really, you know, I love the 90s. I even played 2 covers from the 90s because I had to. And it was a great turnout, and I really enjoyed it. And yeah, we had a lot of fun. So if you guys are in the area, you already know when to catch us next.
Mm.
And yeah, enough about us though.
Yes.
I really need to bring out the guest of the hour. We're gonna have such a good time. Chris Lindsay says if he had his coffee, you guys are in for a treat.
Yeah, we talked about this earlier, and he said, "I think I'm good without coffee because I'm amped already." So he's solid.
So let's bring in Sully from Sully Guitars, built by rock and roll because he's a total rock star himself. So Sully, are you ready for me?
Oh, hello. I was just reading my book. We're looking at Basquiat and Warhol painting Four Hands. This was something, it was an exhibit that I saw, and I know that it did make it to New York. I think it was a couple of years ago that I just happened to be in Paris. It was April of 2023. My wife and I were visiting there. And as we were in a taxi to our hotel, I saw these posters of Warhol and Basquiat together. And this picture, it's just burned in my brain. Well, it's like right here. They're boxers, and it was part of this photo session. And I love Andy Warhol, and I have an interesting connection to that whole thing that maybe we'll get into. We will. And I love Jean-Michel Basquiat, and to see that there was this exhibit going on in Paris at the time that we were there. And we've been off the plane for maybe an hour and a half. And I'm like, oh, so maybe is this happening now? And it was. And so one of the things that we went in the foundation, Louis Vuitton, this huge exhibition, it covered 10 rooms, multiple floors, and it was all about the collaboration that Andy and Jean-Michel did in the mid 80s. And so they had all of these original works. Some were just massive. And to be able to see this stuff up close in person was so wonderful, and it was really mind-blowing. And there was stuff from Keith Haring, who I also love, and it was just the best. So I was just going over the book that I got. I bought one of these while I was there, but it's all in French, and so my Duolingo streak hasn't helped me to the point to where I can read it all in French. But so I have the English version. So that's what I'm doing. I'm great. How are you?
Nice.
Oh, I love that.
We had spoken about nostalgia, and I guess you got really nostalgic in that book there.
I did. When you're talking about doing some songs in the 90s, in the very, very early 90s, I, like you do when you're 18, you say screw it, and you move to Hollywood on a Greyhound bus with your band that you just met, I don't know, 3 weeks before. And so I was out there for a couple of years, and while I did have I eventually got a job because you kind of, I guess, supposed to do that. And this place I worked at was this office, and it was. This is a really weird place to start.
We got to start somewhere, right? You got a fan in the audience, Lawrence Tan. He's like, hey, Sully Guitars, yes.
Oh, hello.
Gracing us with his presence.
And Zach Seif says, hi from Quantum Industries.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Zach. yeah, Zach's a good dude. Hello. So when I was living in Hollywood and I was working in this office, and the people that worked there, it was this really interesting mix of, it was like guys in bands, and then a lot of just very, very colorful people. It was just an office full of very colorful people, and one of them. One of my coworkers was a lady named Holly Woodlawn, and Holly Woodlawn was one of the Warhol superstars.
Wow.
And Holly was in a movie called Trash, and Women in Revolt. And if you saw the Pee Wee documentary on HBO,
Yes.
So very early on, when they talk about when Paul got real into Warhol, and they show this clip of Trash, that was my friend Holly.
Wow.
And at this time that we were working together, Holly was working on this memoir of her life. And I remember it was like a holiday, and the office was dead, and we were stuck working. Maybe it was Thanksgiving. I don't remember. And she's like, "Do you want to read it? I got like the last 100 pages." And I'm like, "Yeah." And so I read it, and it was so great. And it was published. It's long out of print, but it's called "A Low Life and High Heels: The Holly Woodlawn Story." And like, look at it on the back, looking like
Limited
Marlena Dietrich.
edition. Oh,
Wow.
gorgeous.
Yeah, and like Madonna bought the rights to this in like '92 to make a movie out of it, and she never did, which is unfortunate because it's a great story. But you know, and I tie all this back to right now, when just yesterday, Mrs. Sully and I were at the Dallas Art Fair, and we like to go every year. I like to go to art museums because I enjoy the creativity. I like to see something that isn't guitar related, and I can like get out of myself.
Yeah, and get inspired
and
by other things, other art.
And we're walking around, and there are, like there's an auction house that will have like really famous stuff. There was like the Warhol, like Mick Jagger portrait was there. But like in the years that we've gone, like I've seen, Keith Haring stuff and Banksy original work and stuff like that. All of these artists are very, very, very impactful to me. And we're walking around yesterday, and I saw this, it was like a print and I was kind of far away, and it was like a dollar sign and then like another dollar sign. It was kind of silk screen. And I'm like, that looks like that looks like a Warhol. And because like a lot of it is like newer stuff, but not necessarily.
And
newer
your stuff when you see it, if it's Andy.
Yes and no,
yeah.
but like that style, and I'm getting a little closer, and I look at Mrs. Sully, I'm like, I fucking knew it. And so it was so, it was really cool to see. I truly love all of that, and going to art museums, and even I love impressionist stuff, and seeing like how one thing that blows me away is just like how certain artists like use of light in paintings, and like you're taking these are pigments and mixed with oils and whatever that are hundreds of years old, but it looks like I've drawn all my life and all that stuff, but like I'm like, how the hell and it's just so great to see that. So anyway, how are you?
I'm so like in awe of how passionate you are, because I understand, and it makes sense to be able to sometimes describe what you feel, but then it's an embodiment of somebody else's idea that inspires you. So it's always it's just a rush of just emotions when you see something like that in person. And you're thinking, wow, like this was somebody that created this, and it evokes some kind of feeling inside that it's hard to describe. So I completely understand, and the excitement of seeing it, and how long did it take this person, and then you start thinking of your own art and the things that you've seen from way back. You're like, wow, they created this with little resources compared to what we have now. And they made it like this incredible thing. And even architecture and buildings, I feel like the art of that has been kind of decaying, because you see, especially in New York, you'll see these old, gorgeous buildings. And then now it's like a square, a cube,
Yep. I think that's pretty widespread across the U.S. I understand that too, and being able to visited a few countries in the last couple of years, and seeing, stuff that is older than, we were walking through this castle that was from the built in 1065, or and it's like, that's a time. It's like, but I mean, of course there's a nacho stand right next to it, but
we gotta upgrade this a little bit. Let's throw a nacho stand here.
Hey Kevin, can we put a Chipotle in? So but in architecture in I think in the United States, it's a lost art.
Someone
and it's unfortunate.
in the chat says he's definitely caffeinated, and surprisingly enough, he's not caffeinated.
Well, I had, I've had a pot of coffee, but it's been a few hours. But yeah, so some of
residual.
we've got some residual. Don't worry. I still have down to my last 2 pieces of emotional support chocolate because that is important. But also, I'm just damn excited to talk to you and you at home or wherever you are in your life. I don't know.
We got Norris. Norris is here. He's like, Sully, yes.
Hell yeah,
Timbo Norris. And chat, everyone that's listening and watching right now, if you have any questions you'd like to throw at Sully, we'll look at them and
stories,
we'll add them to the queue of questions.
Yeah.
Put in your questions.
So, Sully, for having to look at all the art and stuff, and do you feel like that helps you with your vision in any way?
Yes, sometimes. Some of it, I think it helps in a few different ways. One, it just gets me out of all of this. I mean, sure, this is fun, but it's also a lot. And doing what I do for a living, it is certainly rewarding, but it's incredibly difficult on many different levels. And so getting to step away from all of that, because I don't really get to step away from it very often. I don't necessarily have hobbies. And I turn it into my job.
Which is the dream, really. It is.
It is.
It's hard work.
Yes, but yeah. Also, be careful what you make your living, because you might wind up having it may change your relationship with it.
Yeah, that's true.
So yeah, it is nice to see creativity in so many different forms. One of the things that we saw yesterday is this artist it's in Korea, and I forget his name right now. It was easily one of the coolest things I've ever seen. It was this huge, gosh, I don't know, it's like probably 6 feet by 4 feet kind of thing mounted on a wall, and it all looks like it kind of looks like a rock sculpture, and it kind of looks like a surface of like a moon or something. But then you get up close, and remember, you'd write notes to people in class, and you kind of fold it up like a football or whatever. And as I'm
yes
looking
or
closer,
no.
it's yeah. Do you like it? 1, 2, 3, 1, 5, 6. And
you're gonna have 4 kids.
Yeah. And as I'm looking a little bit closer, all of these little pieces, they look like these little footballs, but they look like rocks, and then they're wrapped with paper, and then they're all tied with these little. I'm doing a terrible job of explaining this.
No, but I get it. I know what you mean.
And I was speaking with the curator of this particular gallery in this booth, and it was just incredible, because it was different sizes pieces, and they all kind of come together and make this mosaic. And I'm looking at that, it's how did you plan this out? And then so I asked the curator, I'm like, do you have any idea how long it took this artist to make this? Because this is a lot of work, because all of these little triangular shapes are wrapped with paper and tied with a thread. They look like these little gifts, and they're all different sizes and colors, and they're all fit together to make these different shapes and to kind of create these patterns. And he's like, a really long time. And I'm like, yeah, of course. But then he was telling me I'm like, well, what is the material that this paper is wrapped around? Is it like a foam kind of thing that he's cutting? He's like, no, it's this mulberry paper pulp, which is, fun to say, that he just makes. And I'm like, wow, why wouldn't you? And he's got this whole math that he, and you kind of said math and I'm out, but that he kind of puts all this stuff, and it was just incredible. So I find all of them, I'm pulling this tangent thread back. I get a lot of inspiration from it, in that it's something completely different from what I do, which is great. And, there are things that I'll see that I've seen over the years in various art galleries, or things that I'm like, oh, that would be a really that'd be like a cool inspiration for like an inlay pattern or something like that. So yeah, there have been some things that I've adapted to what I do.
Authors like notes in class, the original I am. Instant messenger.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. For sure.
And
Do you
Dean-
like me? Check this box.
Dean hopped in. Dean Gordon.
Dane!
Hey, man.
Dane.
Sully man, he says.
Dean and I go way back. We went to different high schools together.
Dean's great. He was
It was
fun to talk to.
incredible to
Yes,
have
yeah.
him.
Yeah, it's good dude.
But I understand. It's like from far away, it looks like craters and all the colors. And then you go and you're like, how the fuck? You go deep in there and it's like every color is like a shading, but it's a thing. And then it looks detailed, but from far away, it looks like a completely different, incredible piece of art. And that's what I'm saying. Artists, they're
I love
built different.
The like when they take industrial elements like cogwheels and metal parts and bike racks, and then like they position it in a way, and then when you look at it in a certain angle, it's like a picture of a person, and then you move over to another side, it's like something else.
Yeah.
And they have a lot of those installed in parts of New York and in Chicago also.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, the Picasso Museum. Yeah. The Picasso. There's a huge Picasso sculpture. Yeah, it's different angles. It's a lot of different things. Yeah.
So your
super cool
guitar designs. What inspired you to do like that leaf-like design? That looks like a signature thing, right?
We should show chat.
No, I'm gonna be
You're there. You're almost there.
Guys.
Right there. Stay right there. Don't move.
I often tell people that my job, my dream is to be like a weather person on like a Spanish speaking channel. I don't speak Spanish, but I can do that affect, like hace frío, but like be very serious and like and have like
El Niño.
Right. Yeah. But in order to have that job, I have to be able to gesture to things on a screen. Damn it. Anyway, so what inspired the 71? Well, let me just grab this one here. Well, you know what? Here, I'll grab this one that's a little further away because, we were talking about art. And then this was kind of, this kind of helped me rediscover a lot of things. This was a thing that I did for NAMM. So I wanted a guitar that looked like a cartoon.
That looks cool.
So you see certain artists doing this with cars.
Is that like scuff like designs?
That reminds me of the Take On Me video.
Thank you. That was part of it.
Yeah. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Everybody does. And so I wanted a guitar that looked like a cartoon. So we have this. But anyway, what inspired this design? Well, since I was a kid, and so we're gonna segue into what got you started?
We got to segue.
What made you choose this crazy life path of yours?
Let's rewind to the beginning.
Like a lot of people my age, I saw a picture of Ace Frehley of Kiss with smoke pouring out of his guitar, and I'm like, that is the coolest thing that I've ever seen in my life. Kiss was kind of like superheroes. I was a little kid that liked superheroes. And girls seemed to like them, and I liked that. So I figured that if I started playing guitar, it would only make sense that, I would have the same kind of the result.
I feel like every guy says that. They're like, come on, let's be honest. We started playing guitar to get the chicks.
Get the chicks.
I know. It's everyone that I've interviewed, let's be honest. It looks cool.
It looks incredibly cool. I always wanted, I'll put this back. I always wanted a Les Paul when I was a kid. And I remember one year for Christmas, when I was 14, I got a Les Paul kit. And my stepdad and I, we put it together, and I found out only when it was way too late, this was mid 80s, that the neck was twisted. And so it was never going to be able to play. So it was kind of like, I put all this work into, we painted it and, did all this, and, I took it, and basically just shot my dog pretty much. It's, the same kind of thing. I'm like, I put all this work into it and I've wanted one of these forever. And they're like, sorry, kid, the neck's twisted. And so, I eventually got Les Paul, and I've had a few, and for whatever reason they didn't stick with me, and I decided, and God, this was probably about 2007, that I'm like, I'm just gonna like find a messed up basket case project Les Paul, and I'll kind of like overhaul it, and I'll make it the way that I wanted it. And so I went through all of this and turned it into a YouTube channel. Sully's Guitar Garage was a thing that I would kind of film these little projects of mine, and none of it was ever really intended to be instructional. It was more like, I want to have a TV show. Huge shock. And it was also like, if you want to do this, and like, if I can kind of figure out how to do this stuff, it's not the hardest thing in the world. So you probably can too. So I kind of filmed that whole thing. But by the time I was done with it, like, the guitar was really, it was a really good guitar. I did a good job. But I realized that the scale length, Gibsons are a short scale guitar. I didn't like that. I didn't gel with it. It was kind of one of those things where, like, the best pizza place is the one you grew up with. I grew up with a longer scale, like a Fender scale. It's a different feel. And so, to answer your question, I decided that I was going to take all of the numerous issues I had with Les Pauls and change it. And it would have been real easy for me to do that with keeping like the Les Paul silhouette and the Les Paul shape. But if I'm going to put that much fucking work into it, I'm not going to do that. So I spent 4 years on the design, not every day, but one of the things that I do is I'll design something, and then I just let it live for a while, and then I go back to it and I make some tweaks, and I do some, it's maybe kind of, make some changes here and there. And then I got to the point where I'm like, okay, I don't hate this. We've got something we have something here. So the next step is to make some templates to kind of take this off of a pencil sketch, which is what it was, and kind of, bring it into being. So I made some templates that you would use to, route the body out of. And then having like this physical manifestation of this shape, albeit in this template form, like, let's adjust this part, and I kind of refine that further. And then, I'm like, okay, we got to make it. And so, so it's a longer scale. It's got much better upper fret access. Like the heel is really sculpted. It's very comfortable. It's got a belly contour, and like your upper fret access is great. It, I don't know. And
beautiful
so
shape.
I just wanted to, well, thank you. I'm going to say, so this design turns 15 this year, which is, kind of a lot to wrap my head around, but,
wow. That's one of your babies.
It is, but I will say that, the guitar buying public, they are like cats, and cats that need a little time. It's kind of like, get familiar with this. Like, it's okay, you can come here, it's not bad. Like, I can hold it. You want to oh, not yet? Okay, that's fine.
I got a treat.
I'll just be here. I got it.
A treat.
I got a treat. Like, this is the treat. Like, just here you go. And so and it took, honestly, what seems like about 10 years to get people to kind of like accept it.
Wow.
Which is it's been a thing. Yeah.
Dean said,
people,
guitar design is 15, but Sully is 28 years old. Can't you imagine he designed it at 13?
Can you believe it? Really? I'm a 7th grader, and I'm just working on this thing. Just
prodigy.
Yeah. Yeah, something.
Did you
sorry, pinky's up.
You did your first guitar you were just messing with was your Les Paul, right?
Yeah, that was that kit. Well, like, so I'll give you the condensed version.
Yeah.
So we're going to go back to 7-year-old Sully, or 8-year-old Sully, whatever. sees Kiss, and they're huge. This is like late 70s. And by this time, this is when they're like super marketed to kids, and like, Kiss Meets a Phantom already happened. And like I think I Was Made for Lovin' You was like the single at that time. So they were, it was like the watered down Kiss that like anybody older than me that's a Kiss fan was like, oh, I fucking hated that. Like, it's fine.
Yeah.
And but they had the Kiss dolls, you see the commercials, and like nobody knew what they looked like, and so there was all of that happening, and I would get my mom to buy me like clown makeup, and I would just sit and I would draw like Ace's makeup on my face in front of the little thing, and I know, and then my friends would come over and we'd put Kiss makeup on, and just listen to Kiss records like idiots, and so my older sister had an acoustic guitar that she was supposed to take lessons with, and she never did. So I took it from her. I was inspired by one of my records that I had in my collection as an 8-year-old. It was called Chipmunk Punk by Alvin and the Chipmunks, and on that were versions of Blondie's "Call Me," Billy Joel's "You May Be Right." It had Tom Petty's "Refugee," and all by like Alvin and the Chipmunks.
I feel like I might have that one.
I know. What he's I'm like, we're showing our age or something.
It had "My Sharona"
yeah,
by the Knack.
Yeah.
And so there was something about that riff. It was so great. And so like I have my sister's acoustic, and I'm trying to figure out how to play "My Sharona" by the Knack, as interpreted by the Chipmunks. And now this album, it's got Chipmunk Punk. It like you can find it on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Some of these songs, there's no business. Like Alvin has no business singing these songs. Like, he's singing, "Good Girls Don't, But I Do." And
Oh my God.
And then, and Billy Joel's "You May Be Right." And he's like, I walked through Bedford's Island, real my own stuff. He told you dirty jokes until you smiled.
Yeah.
And then he laughs a little bit. I'm like, oh my God. Yeah. So I'm trying to, figure that out. And I eventually get my first electric, which belonged to my uncle, and it was like it's a very 60s style. It was from Japan, and so it was like a real like 60s style, retro futuristic-y kind of weird kind of Strat style kind of thing. And so that was my guitar. And so my stepdad, he played guitar, and he would kind of show me some chords, and by that time, I was listening to like my own music, like, you kind of, you hear stuff, and then certain things click, and they're like, oh, that's mine. That resonates with me. One of those records for me was like the first time I heard Van Halen 1. I was in 6th grade.
Oh.
I had just moved to a new town, and like trying to fit in, and I'm the new kid.
That's always hard, right? And then you
worst.
kind of attach those feelings with the music that's around you around the time.
Yeah. And so I hear this, it's Van Halen 1 and Running with the Devil, and like the way that it starts, like the traffic or the car horn, and then this whole thing just takes off. I'm like, oh wow, this is really, it was the same kind of thing I had when I saw Ace. I'm like, oh, I like that. I want to go to there. And I hear this Van Halen record, and then like Eruption. I'm like, what the hell is this? This is amazing. And so I have my guitar, and then I'm trying to kind of do these things, and of course, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. But at the same time, like all of the bands that I listen to, like the guys in Rat, they had their own custom guitars, and like Randy Rhoads, when I discovered Randy Rhoads, like he had his own stuff, and obviously Eddie kind of made his own kind of thing, and as I'm just like inhaling anything guitar related, and like whatever magazines I can get my hands on, and in the backs of these magazines are like ads for all of these companies that sell like bodies or necks and stuff, and you can make your own custom. And I'm like, oh, okay. And so there was really like this culture. And when I look out, don't trip over the chair. he almost like crawled onto my chair.
Yeah.
That was kind of neat. And this culture of like custom guitars, and then there was like this guitar shop near me that I used to go to, and the guy that that did repairs there, he would build like parts guitars for people, and he was like the cool guy you took lessons from, and like, you know, he looked cool, and he like grew up with Glenn Tipton from Judas Priest, and so like, you know, he was very encouraging. And so I would always be like trying to learn, I'd be learning how to play, but I also would learn how to like work on stuff too. So it was really kind of this thing that was just like a mutual thing happening at the same time. And I really forget what the question was, but
we went on a whole
okay.
adventure of what
We
made
did.
you love
We
music.
did.
And I totally get it, because like when you were talking about Alvin and the Chipmunks, that's like
Mhm.
me with Jem and the holograms from remember in the
Totally.
80s?
Yeah, of
And I
course.
was like, and I'm like, damn, when you look at those things now as a grown up, the scandals and the lyrics, I'm like, as
Sure.
little girls, we had no business singing those lyrics. And
Right,
it was
right,
like
right.
it was like a novella or something, like one of those
Yeah.
very dramatic soap operas. And so I was like, wow, I'm like, that makes sense, the drama.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
so I understand, like, it's those little things that you grow up with, and it is part of you, because it's those first moments that you're discovering what you like on your own as a child.
Yeah.
So yeah, those
And
are very,
the-
I can understand those points.
The things that I take from that, you know, because like, yes, I grew up in the 80s, and yes, I understand that I may look like somebody that got kicked out of LA Guns 30 years ago and never got over it. But and I mean that with love, because I love LA Guns, but like, you know, I'm not trying, I have no interest in trying to like relive a decade. But the thing that I liked about certain guitars of the 80s, or at least that particular time period, is that it was like a time of, and I think this was maybe kind of prevalent in other industries as well, but it was a time of experimentation and a time of trying to do something different and throwing just like everything against the wall and seeing what sticks. And, you know, because there are a lot of, you know, guitars from that era that were, well, maybe some designs that withstood the test, and some that really didn't. And the same thing with certain aspects of, you know, the technology of like the certain, you know, guitar bridges or like, you know, pickups or whatever, that like certain things caught on and certain things didn't. So like, it's not that, you know, there are certain guitars from that time period that I hold near and dear. But like, if someone tells me about, oh, well, I had this, and I'm like, I don't want to name specific like brand names and stuff, because I don't want to be a dick and like, you know, yuck someone's yum, as the kids say. But you know, there are certain things that I really like, and I enjoyed. There was a sense of fun. There was the permission to kind of be a little extra. And you know, we all know that feeling where maybe it's nice out and it's not too humid and our hair looks good and the jeans are fresh out of the dryer.
I mean, I can't imagine you having a bad hair day with that head of hair.
Oh, honey, this takes a nation to make this happen.
You just get up in the morning and you're just
no,
like,
he's like, no,
ma'am, no, ma'am.
and the messier
no,
the better. That's in anyways.
Well, thankfully for now, but yeah, normally I have a very close personal relationship with a flat iron and various hair treatments that we get done over the year. You know, we go see Judy, and she straightens all this
Judy
out
hooks
so
you
that
up.
Judy on Instagram, she's at Judy Does Beauty.
Oh, okay.
And,
Shout out to Judy.
Shout out to Judy. Maybe
your
we all
beauty
have our own
needs.
Judy. And that's right. And so yeah, she straightens this all out to the point to where I can let it air dry and it's not
Oh,
crazy.
so your hair is like wavy curly.
My
then.
hair. It's real curly. So we have to kind of straighten it out to kind of get it. We have to overcorrect to get it back to kind of in the middle. But usually, yeah, it's a whole thing.
He had a guitarist that used to do that, and I never knew that. And then his girlfriend was like, "You know, his hair's curly. He just straightens it all the time."
Yeah.
And then Luna's the opposite. I'm like, just
I
let
used
it
to
be wild,
straighten my
baby.
hair, and when I was younger, I had my mom do the flat ironing.
And she said, I didn't have a girl. Why you got me doing this?
And now I'm like, I'm not flat ironing
boy.
this. I'm just letting it wild.
It's
Like,
wild, like
it
an
just takes so
animal.
long. It takes so long.
Yeah.
You got so many clips and there's little bits and it's a process.
Well, it
and
looks great.
Well, that's all that's really matters.
Yeah,
Thank
at
you.
the end, like what you said right in the beginning. Like
Right. It's better to look good than to feel good. Yeah. We can all agree to that. We're just trying to get through.
what is your latest design?
Yeah, let's talk about the guitars.
I think sorry. Yeah. Oh, Somebody
in the chat said we are talking about guitars, aren't we?
We're just hanging
someone
out.
in
We're
the
friends
chat.
talking about stuff.
Yeah, this is the evolution, all right?
Right.
Sully.
It's not necessarily going to go somewhere, but it's an evolution.
His hair has everything to do with guitars, okay?
Well,
It matters.
so the most recent model of ours is the Astro. That was something that I made the first one in summer of 23. And much like with the design of the 71, where I kind of, just kind of like make the design, live with it for a little bit, make the thing, and then just kind of keep making them and then let it kind of become whatever it is as you're going. I'm not the person that's going to sit
red.
and I'm not the kind of person that's going to things just need to exist and then just refine as you go, because if you can take a lot of, and maybe this works for some people and that's fine, but if you take a lot of time and you make sure that every single little detail is exactly the way that you want it to be, that can become a prison that you are locked in.
I say that all the time.
It can prevent you from doing something. And everybody's got their own process. But for me, with this Astro, I was taking a class in what's called CAD design, drawing, so we can machine these things on a computer. And, I could draw anything with a pencil on paper. Drawing on a computer is not really something I'm super comfortable with. And like, I know, I have all of our designs in CAD, and that's, I have friends that have helped and that sort of thing. And I, with a lot of the things that I use, I learn enough to do what I need to do. And then I go and do that. I don't delve into the settings and all that stuff because I just don't have the time. I want to just anyway. So there was this class that I took for, CAD design specifically for guitar, for using the program that I use. I'm like, all right, you know what? Let's just do this. And, so since we were going to be spending this class drawing guitars, all of my models, I've already got those drawings for. I'm not going to redraw something. So I'm like, well, okay, let's come up with something new. A lot of my guitars are either love letters or middle fingers to things.
I love that description.
It's that is also kind of me anyway. So that the Astro model is my love letter to Brian May from Queen. Specifically the Red Special, which is something that he designed with his dad in the 60s. And so it was one of those things where I kind of always wanted to maybe do something kind of like a love letter to that guitar. So it's certainly inspired by it. It's not, I made some changes and all that, because that's, what I wanted to do. I wanted to do my version of this. And so it seemed to make sense for the first one that it would be that transparent red, like Brian's guitar. And the fun thing that I had was coming up with the name for it, because I like to be a little again, either love lettery. We've got numerous colors that are named after Prince. I like our Stardust model is a love letter to David Bowie.
See, I felt that too. I was like,
yeah. And so the Astro, I wanted to come up with something that was Queen related. But like the obvious things, like, what am I going to call it? A Bohemian Rhapsody? Am I going to call it the Fat Bottom Girl? No, that's terrible.
I mean, that's what I got right away.
Bohemian Red.
I was going to say that Fat Bottom, though. when I saw
but
this one.
that's like how Brian's guitar was. And so, but I'm not going to call it that
Yeah.
because, and I'm just I'm having the hardest time trying to come up with something. And so I reached out to a wonderful friend of mine, name of Andy Blacksugar, who is a Brooklyn resident, the greatest guitar player that you will ever hear.
Brooklyn.
Brooklyn.
Yeah. Andy is played with Peter Murphy. He was in KMFDM for 7 years. He's also he was in Blondie. He was in the band their last few years. Andy made this shirt for me, actually. And this is, we've got Lemmy on one side and Madonna on the other, which is very much, which speaks very much to the magic that is me. Andy does that. He'll make little mix-up shirts. And so Andy and I are also just fans of wordplay. And I'm like, and he also loves Brian May. I'm like, I got to name this something. And so I'm like, help me, let's word associate. And so he sent me this list of just stuff. And one was astro, because Brian May is an astrophysicist.
Ooh, those are my favorite people.
That's how it got its name. And so, so I made the first two in that summer of 23. They both looked like the red one on the website. And then, but there was also one of those things where I wanted to have a carved top, so it's not flat. It's a little sculpty. It's like a little. So, I wanted to just kind of keep growing it and evolving it. So, I made the carved top versions. We had it at NAMM, and one of them that the one that I had at NAMM was like this transparent white. I need to get it on the website, but it had this blue pearl sprayed over the whole thing. And the crazy thing about this pearl, so it's iridescent. So in certain angles, you see like this purple pearl kind of light up, but it's not there all the time. It's like a shimmer, like a lip gloss, And so the cool thing about that pearl is that it was blue pearl that was mixed with coal that was harvested from the wreck of the Titanic.
Wow.
So the guitar is haunted. Apparently Titanic coal is a collectible thing. It is the only thing that you can take from the wreckage. Which is, people aren't successfully going down there on a regular basis.
Yeah.
But it is something that you can harvest. And I was looking for, just looking for pearl, and I found this, and I'm like, well, okay, so this is definitely that, and it's got a cool story. So, the Astro is our most recent model.
I was trying to see if you had any images on your Facebook for NAMM. So it's like
there's some NAMM footage. There's some stuff on Instagram. I know, but it probably would have been in, I don't know, where we're talking about lighting and colors and that sort of thing. One of the things that was really a drag about NAMM is that or in general is I tend to make guitars that are really difficult to photograph.
Yeah.
But what are you gonna do?
It's because everything in person looks so much more beautiful. You see the textures, you see the shape more, you feel it, everything is shine.
Right. Yeah, you
see
let your soul glow.
3D renders of something, maybe.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Okay.
I like the description. It says, for fans of shredding, being different, bicycles, large guitar bodies that are comfort and rich sustain.
Yeah. So some of that fun wordplay was by our pal Kyle, who helps with some of our marketing, and he put together that Meet the Models page where. I think one of them is for one of the models, for fans of expensive chords, which was it might be a 625, I don't remember, but anyway.
I like the 624, the one that's has the polka dots and the different
this one. The
little splatters. Yeah,
tell us about that one.
That actually is our friend Kyle's guitar.
What?
So he wanted a splatter finish that was. If you click on that, I don't remember if you can actually click on the photos.
I can't, no.
Okay, well,
That
I'm not
one
with
caught
that
my
attitude, at
eye
least.
completely when I
So
saw it.
he wanted a splatter that, and Kyle also loves, he loves pastels, and he wanted like a Miami Vice kind
Yep.
of splatter. So it's that seafoam and pink and yellow. And on the back of that cover, the control cover, that's, you know, like one of these guys, we laser etched Crockett and Tubbs from Miami Vice. So that's why I asked him, like, can you actually blow it up? But unfortunately not. So yeah,
I can
that's
so see that vibe. Also, it reminds me
yeah,
of like Saved by the Bell days, like the
sure.
the intro and all the colors
Yeah.
and the fun colors that just is happiness. In my
Yep.
opinion, it has those happiness colors.
Oh, so these are the variations that you have in the coloring.
That's one of my favorite
colorways.
colors.
Yeah. And those are all custom orders. A lot of
Whoa, look at that one.
that's a
Snake
fun
skin.
one. Shed your skin. Yeah.
Wow.
That was a very expensive paint job, but it's cool.
I can
Whoa. It was
imagine. I mean, that's
worth it.
really detailed.
It was worth it because it really
Yeah.
looks
Yeah,
it's
that was
coming out.
shout out to our pal Mike Learn who painted that. Yeah, that's a 624. It's a super strat. That is, they're pretty ubiquitous. It is one of those models that you kind of have to have because and I know that sounds terrible to say that, but guitar players in general, they are pretty conservative in what their tastes are. And yes, it is. One of the things people will often say is, God, it's so hard to come up with a guitar design. And I would say that it isn't. What's hard to do is to come up with a design that people will actually buy.
Yes.
If you care about that, that is important. If you don't care about that, then, honestly, I would argue that you are a more free person than I could hope to be, because, I'm going to design something, but I'm trying to keep this mindset where we're kind of like cats. And it's like, yes, it's not something completely unfamiliar to you, but it is a little different, and you just might find that you like it. Unlike broccoli, no one should eat broccoli. It's terrible. But
Not
anyway.
the broccoli.
Oh yeah, I'm here for it. Let's get into it. That and cauliflower. We ask too much of cauliflower as a society.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Brussels sprouts. Keep that away.
See, no. Anyway. All right, sorry, I'm going to go back. No, we can't have our emotional support chocolate. We're talking.
Are about an hour into our
Look at how
show.
fast that
Jeez,
went.
what the hell, man?
We've learned
Because we
nothing.
got Sully,
Yes.
We've learned nothing, you said.
We've learned nothing.
We learned a lot. We learned
We
about
haven't grown as people.
how great you take care of your hair and
Some
the
real important
The
stuff, yeah.
beginnings.
the humble beginnings.
Yeah.
So yeah, and at this time, I'd like to do a quick call to action for anyone that is viewing, watching, listening. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. Subscribe to our YouTube. We're trying to get to our affiliate status on YouTube. If you're not already subscribed,
Right.
and if you're watching on Twitch, if you like Twitch over YouTube or YouTube over Twitch, follow us on either or. We stream on both, and check out our website at YenYorkCity.com for all of our past guests, information on how to be on our show. If you are interested in wanting to be a part of the show, if you have a story to tell, some educational value, and some fun conversations, there's a form you can fill out on there, and yeah, some fun stuff.
Speaking of fun, I actually really wanted to talk about these pickups that look kind of like an oil spill, or like it looks
yeah, the scorched. Yeah.
Like I love that. Let's show it. Let's see if we got.
Is that on here?
Let's take a look.
That really got
I
me.
know that if
pickups.
you go onto this, but I don't know if there's a picture of the pickups page. But if you go into the Stardust page, so in like the custom section, in the custom series, if you click on Stardust, on that page there is a black Stardust that has those pickups on it.
Custom series, Stardust.
And that was, so those are pickups that have like chrome covers. And if you take a blowtorch and
Oh, there it is.
there it goes.
And so if you take a blowtorch to this, to the metal covers and you heat it up, it responds in that matter.
Oh, it looks so awesome.
Ooh.
I saw it. I was like,
Yeah.
ooh, I really
Yeah.
like
So
that.
for that particular guitar, one of the things that I like about that particular Stardust is so that is a very glossy black guitar.
Hmm.
The pickguard on it is it's a very matte satin.
Yeah.
And then you have the burnt chrome kind of pickup. So you have this combination of different like visual, like some are actual different textures, but you've got a lot of different visual textures going on because you've got like this super shiny gloss black, you've got like a satin black, and then this
The
kind of scorchy
detail.
kind of thing. Yeah, and like with this particular guitar and with a lot of them, I think, yeah, we've done guitars that have a lot of different colors and things like that, but like you have to kind of pick like a focal point, and pick what you're going to be kind of highlighting. And it wasn't like I want to have a guitar that has the craziest pickups and build it around it, but it was the client, he's like, oh, I want a black guitar, and then we kind of landed on that idea, and I thought it was kind of a neat little thing.
Is that one of
Yeah,
your
it's
most popular ones? That specific design?
the Stardust model is pretty popular, and much like so the guitar industry, and I don't mean this pejoratively, is the fashion business, and certain designs, and I see this over the years where we make more of one particular model one year than maybe we do another, and it's also with this, like there's only so many guitars I can make in a year. We make about 40 to 50 guitars. Well, we got up to 60 once. So between 40 to 60 guitars a year, but then we've also got the Conspiracy series, which those guitars are made in Korea. And so we'll do like batches of those from time to time. So like when I see like, oh, well, maybe Ravens are a little bit more popular this year, or, I know, I was visiting with someone yesterday and it asked like, what's the most popular model you're making right now? And right now we're making a lot of 71s, which I really like that. But sometimes we make a lot of Stardust, and like, so the Stardust model actually is based on this 71 body shape. You can't get a Stardust. You don't get to the Stardust design without starting here first. And the purpose of the Stardust was I wanted to reach out and have an offering to people who like an offset style guitar, like a Jazzmaster kind of thing. But I don't really like Jazzmaster design. It's just not for me. So I wanted to make something that would kind of like appeal to that group without doing something that I don't want to do. So we took this design, the 71, and kind of split it into quadrants. And we took the lower half, and then we just took these lines and reversed them. And then the cutaway here stayed the same, but then we took the waist of the body here, and then you shift it that way. So that's what makes it offset. That's where it gets its term. And then we took this little bit and just kind of stretched it out a little bit. And so that's kind of that's the idea behind where that landed. And I also wanted to give it some sort of 60s retro futuristic kind of thing, and I wanted it to be something that would look like a guitar that David Bowie would have played. Because I love David Bowie, and I'll tell you, growing up as a teenager, when I heard, like, this wasn't a new song at the time. I mean, I do like 80s Bowie a lot, like the Let's Dance era, but whenever I would hear Rebel Rebel on the radio, the line, your hair's all right, and your mom doesn't know if you're a boy or a girl, like, all of that was real relatable. And it's not that my mom was confused about my gender identity, but it was, I was just growing out my hair, and like at that time, you would get made fun of for those sorts of things. And while this may look okay now, teenage Sully in the 80s, we had some struggles. And so, hearing Bowie say, "Hey, babe, your hair is all right," I'm like, "Oh, thanks, man." So I wanted to, yeah, I wanted to have that. And then again, I was trying to come up with a name because he had just passed away, and I I wanted to come up with like a name that would kind of honor him, and I landed at Stardust, and I was really excited to see that that wasn't being used, and so we, so we did that, and then trademarked it. Damn it! So yeah, the 70. So yeah, got to.
Awesome.
So that's the Stardusts are pretty popular. One of the things that I really like about the Stardust is that you can do a lot of different things with it. We've made baritone Stardusts. I've made a Stardust bass. We've made them in 7 strings, and there are different iterations of it. And the thing that I like is that it seems to be, it's kind of like a paper doll. You can dress it up pretty well, and it wears its various outfits pretty well. So that's nice.
So with all of your models, like approximately the range of its price points, if someone was to purchase one, what is that looking like?
So generally we'll start out like the customs that we make here will start out in the low to mid 3,000s, and they'll usually top out in like the low 5. That is a lot of money. And, and that sucks, quite frankly.
Well, that's custom for you, baby.
I mean, yeah,
you gotta pay for
but
it.
like, well, sure, yes, there's that, and I don't know if we've noticed, but things have gotten a little more expensive over the last few years.
Damn tariffs.
But yeah,
Inflation.
The thing, I talking about pricing and that sort of thing. We associate a lot of that. There's pricing your stuff, I think, can be difficult, or at least it has been for me, because at the end of the day, I'm saying this is what my work is worth. And then, but it's like a self-esteem
know your
thing.
worth, baby.
It's
like I always say.
And it's also saying like, this is what my work, but like I'm also saying like, this is what I'm worth as a person. Like it's very layered, and I really, really don't like that about this. But whatever, you got to do it.
I think that's with like any
Business.
craftsmanship
any
and
craft.
stuff. Like you have to put that value in there, otherwise it's not as appreciated. If someone was to purchase it, they're actually appreciating you more than anything.
It's true,
and they want your style.
Yeah, and pricing. But I will say also, and you can see this with cars too. Once you get at a certain price range, it's less about the thing and it's more about the person buying it. Because like, we know like
status.
Oh my God, like where'd you get that jacket? Like this jacket cost me $8,000. And then it's, it's just like
status, baby.
It is. It absolutely is. And that's it's this whole kind of interesting thing. And I've talked to, friends over the years who have said, they've noticed that having guitars in one certain particular price tier, like a lower, more affordable price tier, tends to get you more headaches, because the people that are buying in this particular seem to complain about things a little bit more often than like something more expensive, which is which is strange. It's not necessarily what you'd expect, but it is. There's this whole kind of weird thing about what things cost. It's someone should study it and then, I don't know, maybe do something else.
We need a science behind it.
I mean, I can understand it. Growing up, my dad had antique shops, and he sells antiques. He refinishes them. He does, beautiful work. And when people would say, "Oh, $3,000 for this or that," you're like, "Well, I mean, there's IKEA. I mean, this is not for you." And my dad was no bullshit, and he would just say it like that. He's like, "Well, then, this is not for everyone. This is custom work, And so, I can appreciate that, because I grew up seeing that, and the craftsmanship of being able to build something and make it beautiful. And it's an art form, and it's something that's dying slowly, because people, they don't want to pay for like something of quality, something that they just buy, and then one summer it just lasts, and then the next season it's I'm gonna chuck it, if it's not a quality item.
We do, and I'm convinced that, as I'm about to say this, that people have been saying this for decades, that we do live in in a society where things are more disposable these days. We've got fast fashion, stores like IKEA, and there's nothing wrong with stores like the bookcase over here is from IKEA. But,
and I feel bad saying that too, because college students and people have little pieces here and there.
And at the end of the day, you've got to have you got to have a jacket or you got to have whatever. But like the thing also is that when we can say that not everybody wants to, not everybody wants quality. I don't think that's necessarily true. I don't think that everyone is either able to pay the amount of money that this sort of thing costs. And, we do live in a time, and I mean, like there are imitations and you can always get the Amazon knockoff of whatever. It's certain industries, it's kind of accepted. There's been numerous, examples like on TV shows, like where it's like so and so is going with their friend to go get like a bunch of knockoff bags, and and that's like a whole thing. When Mrs. Sully and I were in France, she saw this like knockoff Louis Vuitton thing that was €15, and she's like, "Do you think it's real?" It was a flea market. She's like, "Do you think it's real?" I'm like, "No," but it's okay. It's your $15 Louis Vuitton bag, but like, is that okay? No, not really. But so it's we all want what we all want, and we want to be able to have what we want to have. And I really forgot where we were started.
But it's about quality.
We're talking about price points and craftsmanship.
Craftsmanship.
So
I'm between 3,000 and 5,000, and there are plenty of people that might say that I do know that I am on the lower spectrum of, I'm in the shallower end of the pricing pool for what I do. And I'm only saying that I'm looking around at like other people that are making, custom guitars that are, generally a little bit at a higher price point than me. And that's fine. But we also, with the Conspiracy Series guitars, those are at, those are right around like 1,500. And that's also like, that's not nothing. That's, that's also a fair amount of money.
Yeah.
But, I do what I can to make things as affordable as possible. And, in doing that, I do installment plans, that helps me out because that's a cash flow thing.
That's always a plus.
We're trying to run a business and live indoors. And so, having things broken up into installments, if that helps somebody get the thing that they want and feel good about it, then that's a super huge win-win. So yeah, I try and make it as easy as possible because like, if somebody wants to play one of my guitars, like I super want that for them. And cause that is kind of in my best interest to kind of try and make things as easily accessible for people as I can.
Dean says, people forget that Gibsons and Fenders back in the 50s were 3 months of someone's rent. And so a good shop-made guitar will be 3 months rent. It's kind of like people buying engagement rings, right? Mass production has confused people. I agree.
Right.
Yeah.
The
Good
detail
point.
isn't there either with mass production items and things.
Well, because you're mass producing things. I'll say like even with doing like an import line of guitars, I work really hard to make sure that those guitars are made well. And then when those guitars come to me in the U.S. and then before they go out to the people that buy them, I go through every single one of them, and it's interesting having something made on a larger scale. And, because like you send all your designs, like all your CAD designs, and they don't necessarily use them. Like they'll redraw them and kind of incorporate some of that into like how they make their stuff. And so like there are always going to be little differences in the way that things are made, which is fine. I mean, they're not being made in the same shop. And but yeah, the doing that, we've been doing the Conspiracy Series since like 2018. And like I was considering it for like a year because I was really concerned with a backlash because I was really afraid that people would be like, "Oh, another thing going overseas," and like I did get a little bit of that, but like those people weren't actually buying guitars from me anyway, so like grain of salt that. But you know, also like explaining to people, I'm like, girl, this isn't like replacing anything. This is like, it's an addition to. So the good news is I'm still here making these things and I'm willing to, so to speak, accept your deposit. So, you know, happy to build you something at $3 to $5 grand, but you know, if somebody's, you know, if we've got something else that works better for someone at a lower price point, then that's good, right?
Aaron said, talk about the conspiracy series and how the custom orders are going. Smiley face.
You know, so that's another thing that we do, like with the conspiracy series, is like, so the factory that we're working with are doing something that isn't particularly super common in a production facility, in that they will allow us to submit one-off custom orders, which is kind of nice. So, you know, it's more administrative work for me, which is great because I love that. But no, it's good. We're going to see like the first rounds of the orders are coming in, and they're trickling them in. They're sending them in kind of like onesies, twosies as they finish them, because they're also they're fitting those builds in around the larger production work that they're doing for others, because they can't necessarily, oh, we've got to build like 60 of this one thing for these people. We can't just stop and make one of these, 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 one of these. You know, it's just not how that works. So it's good. So like, you know, with the conspiracy series, we can, we'll do like batches of things where it's like, it's this model in this color and this color, so on and so forth. But if you maybe want something a little different, if you want a left-handed version, if you want that, but like 7 strings or whatnot, you can submit your own. So it's the same thing as like if you wanted me to build the guitar for you, but it works in that same way, but it's just made by really nice people in Korea that are able to do that at a lower price point.
Do you do 8 strings?
I haven't yet. One of those things, like for me, like the ochos are almost like basses in that like we've made basses, but like I don't really play bass. And like if I pick up a bass, I don't go like, oh yeah, this feels good. This is what I want. Like it's not like I can say those words, you know, but I don't necessarily speak the language. So like same thing with like an 8 string, like I would, number one, like no one has seriously, this is not a challenge, people, because I don't know that I really want to get into this, but like no one has seriously come up to me and said, I want to order one of these in an 8 string.
I want to order one of those in an 8 string, Sully.
Okay. And then so I say deposits make things happen.
Oh yeah, money talks.
So, well, you know, I would love to just make things for fun.
Yeah.
And I do sometimes. But, you know, I am trying at some point to become a for-profit business. Let's just keep living indoors. And
gotta pay the rent, man. Gotta pay it.
Well, you know, yeah, unfortunately. But so no one has really come forward and said, you know, I want an 8 string, because like this would also be one of those where like I do have a client who prefers guitars that have like a thicker back shape than what I do, a more traditional style. And I told them, I said, well, let me do this. I'm going to make a test neck. Like it won't be a functional, you know, like it's not gonna have a truss rod, it's not gonna have frets in it, but I'm gonna give you like neck back shape and like a fretboard in the shape that I think that you want. Because if I make this and if that's the shape that you want, and I go ahead and make that, like I'll play it, like I'm not gonna like the guitar. Like you know what I mean? So like, I won't necessarily know if it's good. I won't necessarily know if it's what you want. Like I'll know that I've done the thing and it meets all of our criteria. Like it plays the way that it's supposed to, but like, I don't enjoy playing it. So I sent them 2 test necks, and you tell me what you want. And I'm like, okay, so then we made that. So like if someone made an 8, like to me, that is a real wide, thin neck that has practically no curvature to it. So I would want to like, let me make you a test neck. And all of those things too is like, there's R&D that goes into that. And when I say that, that it's time, and yes, the time equals money thing. And it's not because I'm saying that, oh, my time is so valuable, and if I be interrupted to do this, it's going to cost you money. But if I've got all of these things that are in process that we're using, like these orders that we're currently making, using files and designs that already exist, it's a lot easier for me to do that than I have to design a new guitar, which is fine.
The whole process.
But it is a process. Yeah. And so that process, often drives the cost. And, it's like one of those things too, people will ask, like, oh, you ever made a double neck? And I'm like, number one, no, I don't want to make a fucking double neck because like.
Can you make a guitar like Michelangelo?
Oh, my goodness. That's one of those, the first thing I think of when I think of a double neck is like, where the fuck am I going to get a case for that? Because like, one of the things that
where's Zach?
Zach.
Well,
the main office right now.
That's right. And so it's one of those things like when people ask like, oh, what advice would you give someone that wants to get into this? I would say, and this is a little bit of a smart ass answer, but like, design things that fit in standard size cases because that's a pain in the ass.
Don't be difficult.
Well, it's just one of those things where it's like, if you want to get comfortable with buying like a larger case, ripping the guts out, making new inserts, and then going to Joann's Fabrics, RIP, and buying all of the fabric that you need to now get into upholstery, and then put all that back together because I fucking do it, and it sucks. And so, but it's also one of those things where it's like, you got to send it in something. So yeah, that's cases. Yeah. So like double neck. Oh, I don't want to do it. But if someone's going to ask them like, well, you're basically buying 2 guitars. So let's go.
So do you do this alone, or do you have like a team that you work with aside from the people in Korea?
And I know you have classes and workshops too, so you teach too.
We're it's more like baseball fantasy camp than like going to school. And I'm actually doing one tomorrow through the week. And so yes, we have Adam and David work with me part-time. Adam works 4 days a week. Adam is a very good friend, and he is a wonderful guitar player. He's really, really, really good. And one of Adam's wonderful qualities is that he's able to deal with me. And while I know that I'm a lot, and I also know that
you're awesome.
Well, I also can get real dark real quick and can get like, I'm going to smash this fucking guitar. Oh yeah, I've done it plenty of times. Like sometimes like there are things that like something will go wrong and I'm like, I'm about to run this through a bandsaw, but like just set it aside just set it aside because number one, it might be fixable, or number two, this could be a breaking guitar in the future. So like I have some moments that I'm not super proud of. But so Adam can deal with me and all of this. And so like Adam, after COVID, with their kind of, he got laid off during COVID. And then I had moved out of my garage and into like a shop, and it kind of was like, well, I might be in a spot to where I can maybe take some part-time people. So I brought Adam on, and so Adam does he'll do like the wiring. I've shown him how to run the CNC. We have a laser cutter that when we got it was, I'm like, I don't have the capacity to take on figuring something else out. So this is kind of like the laser is like your thing. And so he kind of does a little bit of everything. He'll do like basic setups. When the conspiracy series guitars come in, like we go through and we unbox them all and we look through everything, and he'll kind of like triage everything and kind of get like the neck set to where it needs to be and the string height to where it needs to be, make sure that there's no paint damage, if there's any blemishes to like note them and things like that.
Quality
and then
check.
I will then, yeah, like he'll do like the first line of it, and then like I'll take a look at it and kind of take it from there. And so yeah, and then there's David, who works 2 days a week. David is a very positive young fellow. He is very energetic. We love David. He's very sweet, and David sands things. So
I love
like
how he
when
talks like when you go to a parent-teacher conference and they describe your child. Benjamin is such a great worker. He's so pleasant to be around. We love him in our class.
He sands things.
Yeah.
David
sands things, and he works so hard. He works well within the group. He adds some positivity and some joy. And so David, years and years ago, he had reached out, and as people will do from time to time, like, hey, do you need an apprentice? And like, look, we always need help, but like, I don't have the luxury of showing somebody how to do something. I just don't.
A lot of work,
that time unfortunately has passed. And so, but like David got me at a time when he was learning some, learning to build guitars, and he had some woodworking experience, and so like he would come and sand bodies and stuff. And so
it's a lot of sanding, right?
So guitar building is mostly sanding and problem solving. Yes.
Yeah. A lot of wood.
That's pretty much it. You take a tree and then you cut off the parts that don't look like a guitar, and then you fix you fix what goes wrong in the process.
And who does the fun
part? Try it today.
Who does the fun part? Who does the fun part that to glaze it and to give
coloring.
The paint and all that stuff. Well, that's done. We have a few people to do that. So like the cartoon guitar, damn it, the cartoon guitar.
Yeah, damn. That way.
I did all that. And actually thanks to our pal Dean, who recommended the clear coat that he uses for the backs of his necks that he sprays.
Shout out to Dean Gordon Guitars.
And so that particular project was going to be so involved in the idea that it would have to be sent back and forth between me and a painter numerous times, because I would have to like send it out to get sealed and then white base coat, and then it would come back to me for like art on the fretboard, then it would go back for clear, and then it would come back and I would put the frets in, and then it would have to go back to get the like the body clear, and then it'll come back to me for, and then back, that's very expensive. And with that particular project, it really, I had real big feelings about it. It took me back to a time when I used to draw a lot as a kid, and I remember as a kid a lot of people would say like, oh, you should be an artist when you grow up. And for whatever reason, I would be like, no, I don't want to do that, because I'm going to wind up hating it. I'm going to be a rock star instead.
I mean, you are in your own right.
Well, it's a real strange thing to know when you're like 8 years old. And it's interesting that like I was okay with maybe the idea of hating being a rock star, but I wanted to keep drawing for myself, which it's a kind of a strange thing. And so, while doing what I do, technically it's a creative thing. Like I designed this, and but after a while, you're just making the thing, and you're not necessarily designing new things and all of that all the time. And it can be, you may lose some connection with the creative side of doing this. And when I was asked to do this art installation in the Boutique Guitar Showcase for this past NAMM,
which was the next question I was going to ask you about NAMM.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
It's a thing. And so in the showcase they have like art installations by 3 or 4 participants each year. And I remember the first time I had joined the boutique guitar showcase at NAMM was 2024, and like I've been going to NAMM like and having my own space since like 2016. But I remember thinking, I'm like, well, at this art installation, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what would I do if somebody asked, if they asked me to do that, I'd be like, nah, it's good. I'm good.
But you always wanted
to
do something like that. I feel like, yes, like, but it's just
no,
so overwhelming.
Maybe. And so when I got the email to, you send your submission for consideration, it was that morning, and my initial response would have been, I'm good. But I didn't. And there was something to me that was said, just, like, you just woke up, dude. Like, you don't,
have some
like,
coffee
you're
first.
New. Today is fresh. Like, let's see how this goes. Like, go make some coffee, go do what you got to do. And then just kind of think about it. And then at the time, I was in a real not great headspace with my relationship to what I do and the instrument itself. But so I had this idea. There is a painting by Rene Magritte, and I forget the name of it, and I think it's The Treachery of something or other, but it's just a painting of a pipe, and in French it says, "This is not a pipe. Ceci n'est pas une pipe." And I always thought that would be kind of like a fun, I like to kind of take things and put a fun spin on stuff. And I thought it might be fun to kind of like do like one of my guitars and then have it in French say, "Ceci n'est pas une guitare," but kind of like an homage to that. But anyway, so I had this idea of like, this is not a guitar. And I'm like, okay, so what is it? So it is, it's a friend. It is destruction. It is, it can be a lot of things. It can be a friend for a little while. It can be a way out. It was very much that for me. As a kid, playing, like my guitar and like my bike were my two most important things, because I could just go. And so I'm having all of these ideas kind of happen. And, like, okay, so I can have this guitar, and then I'll have like these screens, and it'll have all of these things that repeat over, like, I am this, fill in the blank. And it's kind of like, I would have something positive and then have something really not, but it was very representative of where I was at the time. But then I'm like, well, let's kind of think about that. And then I kind of thought, that Take On Me video was something. That was something very different at the time. And then like Who Framed Roger Rabbit, when that came out, that was very first of its, not maybe not first of its kind, but it was very innovative. It really pushed the animation with live action, really pushed that forward. And I also had this kind of thought, not to get too esoteric, but like, sometimes you'll pick up like an old instrument or an old something, and you can go, oh man, this had a life, something it's had a life. And you can think of, you get this guitar, and you put yourself into it, and maybe if you had like an empty coloring book, and you add your own colors to it, and sometimes it's in the lines, and sometimes like, fuck these lines, I'm just doing whatever, but you're putting yourself into this thing. And so then I kind of like, okay, so that's where my frame of reference was going to be. And then I said, well, what model is it going to be? And it has to be the 71. It's our flagship model. It's like the most me of what we make. And there are, we have models like what I consider my core models, and then we have some others. But like, if it's going to be one guitar, and it's going to be that. And then, so with this design on it, it is a variation of the Chicago flag, which is, I came from, I didn't grow up in the city. I come from what is referred to as the greater Chicagoland area. But I love the city. And I spent a lot of time there. And so I've done this design on guitars for people. And the thing that I like about it is, like, if you know, And if you don't, it's still a cool design. And then I'm like, okay, so it'll have the Chicago flag. And, you know, but we got to make this look like a cartoon. And so then, you know, I submitted, and I'm like, okay, so then it's like, how am I going to display this? Like, I can't just put it on a stand. It has to be like in its own environment. It has to kind of, it just has to live in its own environment, this little cartoon world. And like, okay, well, what's the cartoon world going to look like? I don't know. So I sent in this rough sketch, and I sent in this whole idea of basically what I just said. And then I just let it go. And I told one friend, and my buddy Mike Squires, who is the greatest, and he was super excited for me. And also, again, I'm going through this really weird, not a weird time, it's just a really dark, really negative time with my relationship with what I do. And I told him, I'm like, you know, there's a part of me that hopes I get it, but there's a part of me that like I hope I don't, because if they say yes, then I'm gonna have to make this fucking thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like, I'm not a carpenter. I'm like, yes, I make these things, but like, and you know, before I had a CNC machine, it was me and routers and all that stuff. So like, yes, I can make these things out of raw slabs of lumber. But like, I'm not a carpenter. I've never had any, like the only woodworking experience I had was in 7th grade when we made shelves, and like, I didn't like it. You know, but so I'm like, what is the structure going to look like? And thankfully, you know, David, with his woodwork background, I'm like, I know what it looks like in my head. And so it's basically, you know, it's like you've got a back, and then you've got these little panels that'll extend out at an angle. We're going to have a top, and we're going to have it hanging. We're going to have this thing suspended in this environment. Here you go. And David can do math, so that's good. And so, we came up with this thing, and the environment itself, I drew like, there's my couch, and it's just all just like line drawing, like an empty coloring book, and some of it also. So I wanted it to look like a room, and so I took like some art that I have like on my walls, like some artists whom I admire, or some things that have just kind of stuck with me, or like things that I've seen in, and some things that I've seen in person, like at the Picasso Museum, as I was walking through, and there's just this little doodle of like a cat, just a little line drawing of a cat's head with a parrot or a bird sitting on top of its head, and I took a picture of it, like, oh, that's just adorable. And then or like, when not yesterday, but the year before, I was at the Dallas Art Fair. There was like a Banksy there, and it was this rat with 3D glasses. And there was also this Keith Haring piece where he drew Andy Warhol as Mickey Mouse. And I'm like, that is so cool. Yeah. And so I have all these things. And so, I reproduced them in my own way in this room, along with this drawing that my son did when he was 5 of a tiger. And it looks like this little Calvin and Hobbes. It looks like a little tiger, and it's just fucking darling. And he drew it in orange crayon, and I still like, he was 5 in 1997. I know, I'm shocked. But I've had this. So like, you know, so there's the Banksy rat that I like put like a little baseball hat with like the rat logo on it for the band, because I love them, and gave him a little studded wristband, and then I drew my son's tiger, and then I made this bookshelf, and then I drew all these books, and then like all of the titles of the books were like references to Friends or Seinfeld references, or like references to the movie Clue, which is like my favorite movie. And so in making this empty coloring book, I filled with it. So it's like, it's all line drawings, but like, I've never done anything that has so much of me in something. So as I'm making this empty coloring book, it's like kind of filled with me, which is really, by the time I finished it, like the guitar wasn't done. I spent so much time painting that guitar and touching stuff up, because like I didn't like how a line, because I like drew on it with like paint markers, and like you can't erase it. and so I'd like, oh fuck it, and I'd repaint it. So like I finished the diorama before the guitar was done because I had to tear it all down and ship it to California. So I didn't get to see it completed until I was there.
Oh wow.
But like when I got the guitar done, I had just really, really big feelings about it, just because it was all of this, like me drawing as a kid. And like, as I'm drawing on this weekend, I'm drawing my son's tiger. It's like my grandson's 4th birthday. And so my son is sending me pictures of them being kind of out and about on, you know, it was like, oh my God. So like he is almost as old as you are when you made this thing that I'm drawing right now.
Yeah.
And oh my God, girl, it was a
emotions.
lot. It was a lot. It was a lot. And so, you know, when we put this diorama together, and I'm the curator of the boutique guitar showcase, he's like, well, so how much is this in case someone wants to buy it? I'm like, oh fuck, dude, I don't know.
Priceless.
And I'm like, I don't know, is it like 10? And he's like, oh, it should be more than that. I'm like,
okay.
No. I'm like, yeah, no. I'm like, I knew going in, like, this is going to be like niche on niche on niche on niche on niche, because it's like, you're not just buying a guitar because like it came with this whole structure. And like, yes, I could make like a smaller thing that could like mount on a wall and whatever. And, you know, but anyway, so it lives here for now. But it's, that one is, it did kind of reconnect me to, you know, the kid that used to draw pictures of Kiss and when he was little, and then draw pictures of guitars when I was in middle school. And, you know, when this started as a pencil sketch, which I still have. And so, and it was cool that because I could go to like, I had to figure out how I was going to draw this because like, I don't know. And it had to be, the artwork had to look like it was hand done, but also maybe by someone that knew what they were doing. And like, I don't know what I'm doing with anything on any level whatsoever. And, you know, so I had like a test body that, you know, it wasn't viable. So I kind of used that as like the prototype. I'm like, okay, let me start drawing this stuff. And, you know, cause like, I know that I want it to look like a sketch, but I've got to make the sketch before I can make that sketch. And hey, I got it.
You got it.
Damn it. And thank you. Thank you. So yeah, it was a whole lot. It was a whole lot. I am very proud of it.
Just the description and everything. I can just imagine you walking in and seeing it all completed. And it's all the glory.
I was trying to see if I could find an image of like that whole thing.
Yeah, we were trying to go through it.
You know, it's on. There is stuff on my Instagram, and it's the funny thing. It's one of those things where it's like,
you're so in the moment too, right?
I was so in the moment, like, and I did take a lot of video of the process that I'm in the process of like cutting it up now. It's a lot of time lapse things, but you know, it's funny because like a lot of the stuff got redone, but I didn't film every single iteration because it's like I gotta get it done. But and it was really difficult to photograph. Even though it's like, why, dude, it's black and white, but like the lighting being what it wasn't super conducive. But like there is a little reel on my Instagram of it where I kind of show it, but I will do a much better job of, because it is another one of those things where I need to write a blog post about it. Because it's one of the things that I try and do from time to time is I'll write like a post on the website, kind of like the story behind the build, you know, because there's only so much you can say in a social media post and like nobody reads those things anyway. And so I need to kind of put together the whole story of that, but I will. I'm in the process of doing it.
Well, when you do, let us know, and then we could do like we could read it on stream for you, and then you know, get some people to listen to the story.
Thanks, Arthur and Darlene, for being here. She says she loves her sparkly guitar, and that I wish I owned that coloring book he's talking about. Right? Just a description.
I appreciate it.
The one in his hand.
It's a great story.
Is my favorite one above all.
This one?
Yeah, that's what Darlene.
So this one, when I talked earlier about a lot of my guitars are either love letters or middle fingers. This one is a middle finger. This particular guitar is a middle finger.
That's where it came from. Okay.
It's kind of hard to get on the camera, but so underneath here we've got this natural finish. There is like figured maple underneath here, so it's kind of like it's got like a pretty top, and the story behind that is I had a bunch of these maple tops. I was making a bunch of these guitars at the time, and it just so turned out that my supplier of so there's mahogany underneath here, and then there's maple that goes on top, and you have to get it in a certain thickness. It's you got to get it kind of thick because you're going to cut away most of it. And I found a supplier that had really good pricing on figured maple that you could use for carved tops, which is what that's considered. And the pricing was really, really, really good. So I bought a bunch of it. And that means that I wouldn't have to go source stuff locally for things. And so because I had a bunch of it, and a lot of the figure was like okay in certain spots, but like over here, maybe the figuring wasn't so good. Maybe there was some like stains or streaks or whatever. And so anyway, I posted this picture on Instagram of these two guitars that were in process, and both of them did have some nicer figured tops. And like one was, someone said, oh, well, what color are those going to be? Or like, I would just put clear coat. I'm like, well, that one's going to be gold and that one's going to be something else. And they got really, really angry about like, how dare you paint over such beautiful wood and all that. I'm like, oh yeah? Well, okay.
All right.
So fuck you. This is
scratching the shit out of the end there.
That there was a real nice, pretty top under here. And then we're going to spray it black because fuck you. And it turns out that this guitar is incredible, and I kept it. So
nice.
I mean, as with everything, I'll sell most anything of mine, but I'm not going to make it super affordable. But yeah, this is what I call the fuck you relic.
You have to work for that one.
We make fun guitars, but I also like to put the FU in fun.
Yeah, that's awesome.
They all have a story too.
Yeah.
So we got like about 10 minutes or so left of the show. We're gonna
fast it went.
Rapid fire questions real quick before we hit our last question. So I have a question.
Yes.
And you play guitar, right? You actually play.
I do.
You can play.
Yes.
You can shred.
Yes. Sure. Yeah, I'm all right.
You've been in bands.
I'm rusty. I've been in bands. Oh yeah.
You have music.
Yeah.
What is this? What are we listening to? What do you got? I want to know what music you have out that we can probably check out at some point.
Oh. Well, okay. I have music here.
Oh. You haven't released anything.
No, probably not. No. No, because I used to write stuff all the time, like all the bands I was in when I was a teenager. I would write lyrics and music, and a lot of times I would wind up singing and playing guitar in whatever band I was in. When in my very early 20s, I was 20, I became a parent, and by the time I was 22, I was a single parent with sole custody and of a 1.5-year-old. And so didn't really have the time. So I would record a lot after I would get him to bed. I would record in my kitchen with my 4-track. And so I have a lot of that stuff, and a lot of it, it's on tapes and didn't get converted over to digital. So, but yes, a lot of my 5, the guitar players that got me going was like Ace Frehley made me want to play guitar. Randy Rhoads made me want to play it well. I love Joe Perry from Aerosmith. Aerosmith is probably my one favorite rock. If I had to pick one rock band that was my favorite, it would be Aerosmith. I love Joe Perry mostly for like style, like as a lead player, his phrasing to me, it sounds like a language that I can't sing back. But Joe is just fucking cool. Yeah. And like Jakey Lee from Ozzy's band, Randy and Jake were like my guys. Like Jake was so good, and he had like this showman. Like Jake had the cool moves. Jake had great hair. Randy had great hair too. But like, I think Jake was a little further along in where he was in his self-confidence, because like Jake had this fuck you attitude. And yeah. And then also like Dave Navarro from Jane's Addiction, like those first Jane's records.
Oh yeah.
What he was doing was just so good. And there was a record that he did in '94 called Deconstruction with Eric Avery. It's available on streaming again. It's so good. It's so good. I love Dave. And then like Lindsey Buckingham from Fleetwood Mac is like my if I had to pick five. I
That's an
love Lindsey's
amazing
solo.
list.
I love Lindsey because like he's not afraid to get weird. Especially on his solo stuff, a lot of it like he gets real weird and he's not afraid, and I love that about him. But yeah, so like I was a lead guitar player, and yes, I would play a lot. Like actually, if you go on the Sully Guitars YouTube channel, in like the there's a playlist called My Guitar Playing Videos, and I was also in a Kiss tribute band in like 2000 as Ace, and that was fun.
Wow.
And makeup explosions and all that stuff. It was a good time.
Explosions.
And yeah, and so like, but in like in the aughts, I used to, I would have these Ozzy backing tracks, and I would just kind of record my parts, and then I would kind of cut them, like it was all pre-recorded, and like work hard on the solos, and like they're triple tracked, and then I would like, I'm miming in the videos, and I would switch guitars in the videos just because, and then I would always invariably go to an acoustic guitar in the middle of a solo just because I'm an idiot. But so you can actually see me, yes, I am actually playing.
I feel like you should take out those songs from the vault and just let them free, let them be out there.
There's one song that I wrote that I still like, and I had my friend Andy Blacksugar put some vocals on it because I pulled off the vocals that I had, and I had him write some lyrics to it and to do some he did some additional guitar, and I just haven't finished it. But yeah, I'll do it sometime.
Sully.
Ooh, you found a gem here.
Yeah.
Oh, that guitar matches my nails. The colors of my nails.
That's important. Great editing.
Oh yeah, I love the transition of the guitars, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just so good.
Is that
everything you need?
Is that for like tone, like changing the tones?
No,
it's just a showcase.
Show off all the amazing
These
guitars.
are just. I'm just trying to have fun. I'm just trying to entertain myself.
That's cool.
So like, most of this track was recorded with like one guitar. But we can. Who wants to watch someone do that?
I do.
So at least try and make it interesting. So try and make it
right. We
try and
want
make
to
it
see
fun
it
for the person. Yeah, for sure.
So cool. All right, so okay.
Now it's time.
7 minutes. Hold on. Quick top 5 albums.
Oh my God. Okay, well I'll do it this way. If you were to take Blizzard of Oz, Beauty and the Beat by the Go-Go's, Duran Duran's Rio, Shout at the Devil, and let's say the Immaculate Collection by Madonna. If you were to mix those, that's what Sully Guitars are.
There you go.
Thank you and good night.
All right.
That's what I would say.
No, this is the part. This is it. This is the point in time where I ask you for the 12 songs to the soundtrack of your life, Sully. Like I feel like those will define. Like let's say it's the soundtrack of your life. It could be the first song you learned how to play on guitar, or one that it just makes you feel everything at once. And I know you did your homework and you did
he prepared
it.
himself.
I did. I put a lot of thought in, and I'm so spoilers. I got more than 12, so I'm gonna do my best. So
let's go.
Early stage of young Sully. The first song that I remember associating or having resonate with me, which makes no sense whatsoever, is I think it's called "It's My Life" by Billy Joel. And I was 7. I was in 2nd grade, and the chorus, "I don't care what you say anymore. This is my life." Something about that resonated with me. All right. My Sharona, as we already mentioned, from Chipmunk Punk. Our Lips Are Sealed by the Go-Go's. My older sister, Meg, she bought Beauty and the Beat, and that record was very, it really imprinted on me. Like a lot of what I like. I love that record. So if I had to pick like one Kiss song, I'm gonna say it Shout It Out Loud. Just because it's a good chorus. I like that Paul and Gene are trading off the vocals. But the one line in it, or if you don't feel good, there's a way you could. Don't sit there brokenhearted. I've always liked that. I've always liked that.
Classic.
A video that in the song, my introduction to Prince was Little Red Corvette. Because it was one of those things where it was like, okay, so I'm a white kid growing up in suburban Chicago. And this is, that came out, so what, maybe 82. So I was 11 years old. And so I see this video and like, it's real sexy. And like the song is really sexy. The visuals are things I've never seen before. Prince was cooler than fuck. And then his guitar player had like this really great like Explorer that was like half black and half red. So there was a lot going on. It was a great song. Also like Duran Duran's Girls on Film. Also like, Is There Something I Should Know? I know I'm doing more than 12. When that came out, like that summer, I remember I bought I had a Duran Duran t-shirt, and I remember my first day of 7th grade for pictures, I wore my Duran Duran t-shirt, and
yes,
I was fucking roasted mercilessly.
What? You were roasted?
As a guy, as a boy, as a 11 or 12-year-old boy, yes.
I would have been your best
because
friend.
Duran Duran, and Duran Duran was for girls. But like they looked so great. The songs were so good. John Taylor's bass lines are incredible. I remember I took a Duran Duran album to get my hair cut, and I asked the lady, I'm like, can you cut my hair like John Taylor? And she's like, oh honey, no.
What?
So
why?
Yeah, because I didn't have straight good hair like John Taylor does. I'm friends with John Taylor's tech, Bernie, and he brought John to the booth at NAMM in 2018 at a time when I was actually not in the booth.
What?
I was doing a panel discussion, and it was awful. I really wish I wasn't. And so I missed John. And I'm like, but also like, what am I going to say to John Taylor?
I'm a fan.
Okay, anyway. I'm like, hey, you're really good at music. Okay, we already mentioned Rebel Rebel. Motley Crue was another band that was like hugely influential on me. I was flipping through Circus Magazine in 7th grade. I see this ad, it says every mother's nightmare, and it's an ad for Shout at the Devil. And I'm like, I'm very much into bands that kind of have that they're a little dangerous, they're a little sexy, and they kind of scare you a little bit. I did get to make a guitar for Nikki Sixx a couple years ago, and we've become pals, and he checks in, and it's crazy.
Wow. This is your life, man.
If I had to pick one Motley Crue song, it's Wild Side. I think that's their best song. Going to Aerosmith, Seasons of Wither on Get Your Wings is the greatest song ever written by anyone in the history of humanity. But also I'll pick Sick as a Dog, and Aerosmith Rocks is a perfect record. Guns N' Roses was a huge musical shift for me. There's like, again, stylish and scary, because they were Aerosmith. So you had the Stones, and then you had Aerosmith, and then you had Guns N' Roses. And don't listen to anyone that says that Nirvana killed hair metal. Guns N' Roses did. And I'm glad. But I can't really pick one song, but like Appetite was so impactful, and I blew my voice out until I could sing like Axl. If I had to pick one Ozzy song that had like Randy on it, I'll pick Revelation Mother Earth off of Blizzard of Oz. One Jakey Lee song, I'll go with Rock and Roll Rebel off of Bark at the Moon, because there's like 4 guitar solos on it, and like Jake is on fire.
Gee, right?
Then I'm going to go Freedom 90 by George Michael. We've all seen that video. That was burned into our psyche.
Beautiful.
Long live Christy, Linda, Naomi.
Yes. We will never have supermodels like that.
Oh my God.
It's what happened.
Their documentary on Apple TV is so good.
Legendary.
But then also with Madonna, like Express Yourself, Vogue, Lucky Stars.
Yes.
Never Enough by LA Guns. Cocked and Loaded, I think, was a better record than their original. Their first record's really good. I think their second record, Cocked and Loaded, was better. The 90s, I got into shoegaze pretty well, and that has stuck with me. That sound washes over me. It always hits right. New Decade by The Verve is so good. Also, like going way back to the 70s, Sex Pistols, Bodies, so good. Going into 90s, where Sully gets a little gothy, I go to my industrial goths and techno phase stage. The Cure, the Wish album, very underrated.
Yeah.
So this
Cure.
is real dark, but like End on the song End, it's real. I was going through a real bad time in my life, and that song stuck with me. Concrete Blonde, Janet Napolitano, I love her. And so When You Smile by Concrete Blonde, Straight to You by Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds, going to the Smiths. Last Night I Dreamt Somebody Loved Me, or How Soon Is Now. That like that guitar sound is like my top 3 list of my favorite guitar noises. I did see Morrissey live once in the 90s.
So lucky.
I was amazed at how insane the crowd was. I thought it was going to be a very polite crowd.
No, it's like another breed of people.
Yeah, but in true Morrissey fashion, he canceled the fucking show while it was going on.
Oh my God, there's got to be a riot then.
Loved Nine Inch Nails, Down in It. Also something I can never have. I saw Nine Inch Nails on the Downward Spiral tour just before Closer was a single. So like they were still playing small clubs. Marilyn Manson opened up for them in support of their first record. Blew me away. Manson was like another one of those bands where it was like they kind of scared the hell out of me, but like also really liked them. My friend Andy Black Sugar Transmission, City Song. He did this. It sounds like New York City in the summer. Jane's Addiction, 3 Days. Also the entire album of Nothing Shocking, which is a perfect record.
Yeah.
Edith Piaf's Hymn à l'amour, which is the hymn of love. It's, oh my God. If you saw Celine Dion's performance at the Olympics opening ceremony, the song that she sang on in the middle of the Eiffel Tower, go watch it.
Wow.
It's the most powerful thing you'll see. But also, I currently like what I'm listening to now. I'm almost done. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
I'm very much into my like lady pop phase. When like Dua Lipa's Future Nostalgia album, fucking brilliant. It's just like, it's so great. Like, so I've picked one song from that. I'm going with Cool. There's an artist named Luna Aura, Luna, Aura, Aura. She's so great. She has a song called Baby Doll, which is great. Her newest song is called You Suck, which is also great. It's kind of like 90s sounding, which is really good. My favorite record, and this is the end, my favorite record of 2025, well, I'll say 2024 was The Cure's last release. But for 2025, it was The Clearing by Wolf Alice. They are having a moment now. I know they're blown up. That record, it's got a lot on it. I've liked a lot of their songs here and there. And when that record came out, I was listening to it while I'm working, so I don't necessarily hear everything all the time. But then I spent some time with the lyrics, and I'm like, oh my God, it's an incredible record. I can't say enough things about it. And that is my my 12th list.
I gotta say,
that's right.
It's everything and more that I expected from such an amazing artist. Sully, incredible person.
Real quick, sorry.
Yes.
I just wanna highlight that you made a guitar for what's his name, Michael Sweet.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about that. You want to do a quick description as to like how this came about, the design and everything?
I've made 5 or 6 guitars for Michael now.
Striper.
Wow.
So yeah. After NAMM 2020, I got a phone call from someone who said, hey, I have a friend who is with a major manufacturer, but his deal is up and he's looking for new guitar builder, new opportunity. Are you interested? I'm like, well, okay, cryptic, but yeah, sure. And he's like, okay, it's Michael Sweet from Striper. I'm like, yeah, sure. Give me, he was a Jackson guy from back in the day. And like my biggest influence as a guitar designer is Grover Jackson, of Jackson, the founder of Jackson Guitars. Grover is a very good friend of mine. And I saw him a couple weeks ago. And so I'm like, yeah, okay, sure. And so, and then I I talked with Michael, and I'm like, well, let me send you a couple of guitars to check out, and if you like them, we'll come up with something. And if not, no big deal, just send them back. And so I did, and he liked them. And so the first one I made was a Revolution, and then I made him a Concord. He's got a couple of like non-striper guitars. He's got a 71. He's got a Stardust, and then he's got a Supernova. And then that Alita that you had pulled up, that was a play on a Jackson that he had. So they did their 40th anniversary tour in 2024. So I made that one. They did like 2 shows. They would do the first set was like an hour and a half of like the first 20 years, and then the second set was like the last 20. So he played that Alita for the first 20 because it was kind of like an homage to a Jackson Kelly that he had at that time. So he played that one, and then in the second set he would play the Supernova.
So awesome. They're really nice designs.
And, thank you. Yeah, it's nice because he lets me come up with my own stripe patterns and stuff like that. So it's cool.
Sully,
it's very easy to work with.
Thank you so much for being on here and giving us your time.
It's such an honor to have you. You're amazing.
There's so much more we could be talking about.
It went so fast.
So, I would love to have you back again, in the near future and really dive into, more details about all of your work and even like future stuff you're going to end up releasing soon.
You plan on being in NAMM next year?
I will be there.
All right. So hopefully we get to meet you if you ever come to New York City. You already know you have friends here.
Thank you. I would love to.
Shout out to everyone that tuned in and watched. Thank you so much for hanging out. Hope you guys learned something. Hope you found this educational and inspirational. Definitely check out all of Sully's work at sullyguitars.com, correct?
Yep. And make it really easy for you to find.
And social media, same name, Sully Guitars?
Yep.
All right. Be sure you follow him, check out his work, and reach out for some awesome guitars from Sully.
Buy a guitar today, won't you?
Today, right now. Do
today,
it.
Right now. Think of these poor, sad guitars that need homes.
Thanks
again.
They're
like cats.
Yeah, like cats.
Yeah. Let's get Sarah McLachlan
Try it
on
first.
Yeah.
You'll love it.
You will. You will.
All right, everyone. Thank you again.
It.
Much love, and we'll see you guys again next time here at YenYorkCity Live. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.